And we're live. Welcome to the Team Tank Recap podcast. We are going to talk about the shitty freaking winning streak the Lakers are on, Byron's terrible decision making, and best objects to throw while frustrated during a sporting event. Joining us tonight, we have Justin Russo, who's become something of a regular guest. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm all right. I'm alive.
Justin's trying to not, incite us with his gloating over the Clippers smoking the Grizzlies tonight. What was it, 19-point win?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 19. I think it was like 98-79, I think.
Hashtag humble brag.
Yep.
Also,
Not every team can go into Memphis and win by 18 or 19, so.
So we have also joining us tonight, we have Rahul, who was on probation for random joining and not joining, and said he's going to join and said he's going to do whatever for the team. Rahul, how are you liking your spot down at the end of the bench?
It's tough. I'm trying to earn my minutes again, so.
I like how it's
Hopefully.
even like dark down there wherever you are. Like your room is
Yeah.
like all dark, and yeah, you're in Harry Potter's broom closet.
It's signifying the future of the Lakers.
Oh.
Oh man.
You guys are depressing yourselves. I don't even have to do anything. You guys are doing it yourselves.
There's our resident Mr. Brightside, Ryan Kellapar. Ryan, you're sitting on Mr. Doomsday through the last week or so.
Yeah, everything I'm predicting is coming true, and I keep predicting like the worst things, like winning three. Well, I didn't predict we were gonna win 3 games. That was Gary, and we gotta run him out of the country for that. But I predicted we beat the Bucks tonight. We did. So, but I feel better. I just went on 2K, released Jeremy Lin, and then turned off my PS4. So I feel better.
So here's a Justin just tweeted out that I'm taking a request for reverse jinxes for the Clippers. So Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and say stop predicting stuff. Might be a good plan. You and Gary can just stop predicting stuff. Gary's like trying to reverse jinx everything, and you're trying to do whatever you're trying to do, and the fucking Lakers keep losing. I'm gonna go ahead. I was losing my stuff. I'm gonna apologize for my foul language on the Twitters as Byron calls them, or Byron's Byronic decision making to not play Clarkson in the fourth quarter. Ryan, what did you take away from that? Fuck, I can't even talk. Go ahead.
I mean, not playing Clarkson in the fourth quarter after he dominated the whole game was just. It doesn't make any sense. It's like if one, he gave us the best chance to win the game, and two, we're trying to develop him. So either way you look at it, he should have been out there, and then having Lin have a good series of a good fourth quarter, basically, that angers me too. So I don't know. I just want this season to end. I hate. Well, I don't. At this point, I don't even hate like the whole like we might lose the pick thing. It's just nothing nothing the team does makes sense. We have a bad coach. We play players out of position. We don't develop young players, and just losing the pick would just make it a lost season, though.
Well, I don't. If the Lakers were to lose, and it was because Clarkson became Russell Westbrook 2.0, which again, before I get tweets saying that he's anything close to Russell Westbrook, I know he's not. But I'm saying if he played out of his mind and was the reason the Lakers won, all right, fine, the rookie's developing. But to not play him in these games, in these close games where he's going to actually learn how to, contribute to a win in a close game environment is just why? Like why? What the hell's going on? And Rahul, you can go ahead and take over from here. But Lin's not going to be a Laker next year. Well, why is he playing now? Go ahead, Rahul, before I throw stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, earlier into the season, Clarkson, he looked lost, but now he's reading defenses really well. He's keeping his dribble alive. He looks poised. He's making smart reads. He did everything a coach could ask for from a player, and then Scott just gave the minutes to somebody who's not going to be a Laker, who's not as good as Clarkson. It doesn't make sense. Like I think Byron Scott's doing everything that's counterproductive to this team. It's crazy.
It's almost like Byron is actually on Twitter and reads what everybody knows is the smart thing to do and just goes, "Boop, I'm going to do it my way." Justin, from an outsider's perspective, you noted before the podcast that, oh my God, Clarkson didn't play a minute in the fourth quarter. What were you thinking as you were watching that take place?
I just don't get why you don't play a younger guy. I mean, I'm looking at it now. Clarkson played 30.5 minutes through the first 3 quarters, had 16 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, only 1 turnover, was 7 of 9, but was 5 of 5 on jumpers outside 16 feet. So it's like he's doing everything you want him to do, and then you just don't play him. And you stick with guys like Wayne Ellington and Wesley Johnson. Like, yeah, they had great fourth quarters, but they combined for nothing the first 3 quarters together. Like, literally had no points together. And then they combined for 24 minutes in the fourth quarter, so obviously they each played 12. It's like, what are you doing? You're like, I get you're trying to build a winning culture and all that crap, but you don't do it with older guys who won't be there.
Right. Well, it's funny you use the words combined for nothing. That's what they're going to be next year for the Lakers. They're going to combine for nothing all next season. They should have combined for 2 second-round draft picks during the trade deadline, but no, I can't go down that route.
My battery's dying. Just give me a minute. I'll be back.
Okay. Go ahead, Justin.
No, I was going to say, it actually pisses me off because as a fan of a team who once used to be bad like every year, at least you kind of, like, you could, even if your team was losing, you're like, oh, at least there's the young guys that I can watch play. And the Lakers, it's almost like, yeah, we're going to play the young guys for a certain amount of the game, and then, hey, once he hits his minutes threshold, screw him. You know, and it's like, that's not how you do it. It's almost like he's trying to fight for a playoff seed, so he plays the veterans in crunch time, but they're not a playoff team. You don't need to see the veterans in crunch time. You know what the veterans in crunch time can do. You don't know what the rookies can do. You got to play them.
Right, and you look at somebody like Tariq Black. Ryan, you can chime in here too, but Tariq Black hasn't played in like a month, right? Like,
and Boozer's starting, and Jordan Hill's getting 24 minutes, and these guys and Sacre's starting, and he's awful, and he's probably not going to be on the team next year, assuming they're going to cut him. And Tariq Black, a guy who's under contract next year for like $800,000, who could become a cheap role player, and they're not even giving him any minutes. It's like I said, like they're doing basically the opposite of what they should be doing right now.
Well, I mean, I tweeted, and it might be reckless speculation. I have no idea if Byron Scott even has a daughter, but if Tariq Black spent a little bit of extra time with Byron Scott's daughter, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest, given how he was buried. For a while there, he was a bright spot, right? For a while there, he was, wow, I can't believe the Rockets let this guy go, and wow, how the Lakers get this guy for nothing, and wow, it's another great move by Mitch to find this diamond in the rough. And now he's back in the damn rough because Byron won't play him.
He had that 14-9 game against Orlando. Come on.
What's that?
He had that 14-9 game against Orlando, and now he doesn't even play.
Yeah, he just and it was his per minutes production were pretty ridiculous too. I mean, and that's the other thing is that if you trade a Jordan Hill for anything, for literally anything. Like if you get a conditional second-round pick that might not even, give you anything in return, you now free up minutes for guys to play. And now Mark Medina is reporting that they aren't going to buy anybody out. What the heck is Boozer going to do, as the season goes on? He's going to take minutes from Tariq Black, and he's going to take minutes from Ed Davis, and he's going to take minutes from all these other guys. You have this crowded front court, and you have no idea what you have going into the offseason.
Like, what I don't get is if Reggie Evans can play, Tariq Black can play. They're the same guy.
Yeah. I mean, except Tariq Black doesn't flop around, every time.
Hey, Reggie has a soft spot in my heart now. Don't be going there.
Reggie Evans is the soft spot. Whenever he has a soft landing on, he has a nice big rear end that he lands on every time.
Reggie Evans was the greatest. I'm not even going to hate on him.
He's a Kimbo Slice out there.
Reggie Evans and Nick Young throwing up gang signs in Memphis in Game 1 was the greatest moment of my life.
I remember
that. Speaking of Nick Young, Jerry Kachoyan, who has appeared on the podcast wants to ask about whether we think Nick Young being hurt actually hurts the tank. Ryan, what are your thoughts on that?
It's hard to say because he has those games where he makes circus shots and he almost single-handedly keeps our offense afloat, and then he'll have games where he just destroys any sort of offensive flow we have and doesn't play defense. So it's hard to say. I mean, tonight, for example, he probably would have, if he played more minutes instead of Ellington or whoever, he probably would have hurt the tank. But it's it's hard to say.
Yeah, what do you think, Rahul? I mean, I'm not a Nick Young fan even a little bit.
Yeah.
Is he a net negative when he plays?
Yeah, I think he is, but I mean, no, Nick Young, I'm not a fan of his at all. He's not a good basketball player. I know we've said this several times, but he makes this team way worse. His shot selection is terrible. He doesn't do anything but score, and he only scores when he's hot. And most of the time now he's not hot anymore. So
I'm gonna add something about what Jerry's asking. I'm gonna say if tonight's game was a home game, so I would say having Nick Young would have hurt us because I'm looking at his split stats, and at home he shoots only 34% from the field. So yeah, he would have hurt the tank tonight. I would have helped the tank, not hurt the tank.
I just think Ellington's a smarter player. Which again,
he is.
They picked up Singler, which I actually like for them, but Ellington would help all these teams as just a spot-up shooter in the corner. He's money, as a spot-up shooter. He makes good decisions. He doesn't play over his head. He just does the good. He plays. He's not a great defensive player, but he's not awful. He's not Nick Young.
I wouldn't mind bringing him back next year. It's just typical Laker role player getting overpaid, so he'll probably be out of our price range.
Well, you want him on the team next year?
I think he's a solid role player. I mean,
I'd rather stretch Nick Young out, waive him via the stretch provision, and then bring Ellington back.
Ellington I'd much rather have than Young.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin, you went through the Nick Young experience. He wasn't Swaggy P yet, but what are your thoughts on the artist currently known as Penis?
He's so weird. We don't win. We don't beat Memphis without him that one year. That's the crazy. It's weird when he's hot. The Swaggy P legend, I guess. It was born in Memphis because he hit those 3 threes in I think it was 50 seconds, and it was what the hell just happened? And then obviously we win the game, and like I said, him and Reggie Evans are throwing up gang signs, and the fat little Memphis kid is crying with his towel, which was great. And it's great what you remember about stuff like that. And it's weird because I actually had this conversation with a friend the other day, and he and I had this conversation 5 years ago, where we were talking about Nick Young, and it was he's the perfect LeBron teammate, where if LeBron feeds him the ball and if all Nick Young did was stand and shoot, he'd be great. If that was his only job, he'd be great at it. But he doesn't want to do that.
Exactly.
In a way, that's like Jamal Crawford. Jamal doesn't want to just stand and shoot, which I guess you got to let guys be who they are. But Jesus,
Nick Young got a lot of spot up shots last year. That's why his shooting percentage was a hell of a lot better than it is this year.
And I don't think he would not be willing to accept that role on next year's team. So,
who wouldn't accept which role?
Nick Young, just being a spot up shooter and not taking the dumb shots he does and just spotting up.
Well, I think Nick Young is freaking dumb. He's not a smart player.
He's not.
Like look at the decisions he makes and the way he handles himself. Like after that Boston game, it was offensive how stupid he looked.
And actually, really interesting side note, a story on him. Ralph Lawler, the Clippers announcer, was on the radio like last week talking about Nick Young because someone asked him about him and like how helpful he was for the Clippers his only year. Well, I guess Ralph told a story, and I actually listened to it. I guess Nick was actually laughing and like having a great time after one of the losses. And I guess Chris Paul got in his face and told him to just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you shouldn't be happy. And so Ralph said maybe he's the kind of guy who, he doesn't care about winning and losing. He's just there for himself.
Yeah. I mean, just look at how he handled himself after that game, right? We in the building and all that bullshit. Like, yeah, you're in the building with 14 wins.
Well, the thing is, it's like we haven't experienced him on a Lakers team that's like supposed to be winning games or that's like a playoff contender. So it's like on those teams, last season, for example, we didn't have to fall in the top 5. So it's like when he had a good game and he was when he did the swaggy Pow thing and he gave the Pau Gasol the low 5, that stuff was kind of enjoyable. But now this year, since we want him to be bad, it's when he plays well and he does all those stupid antics, it's really annoying. And I'm sure next year, if we're actually decent, which I mean who knows at this point, but if we're actually trying to win games and his shot selection, we're just gonna hate him for it.
Well, it doesn't help that they gave him $5 million a year.
Yeah, I mean that contract. That contract doesn't bother me that much because, one, the cap's rising, and two, they kind of gave it to him at a bad time, though, I guess you could say, because he came off one of his, it was basically his best shooting year he's ever had, and it was probably a product of D'Antoni's system. So it's they probably overpaid him a little bit, but if he gets back to that type of scoring, where he averaged 18 a game while shooting 39% from behind the arc, then it's kind of a bargain. But for this year's Nick Young, you're overpaying him.
Yeah, well, and I think too, you could just always stretch the guy. I mean, if you stretch him and you pay him what would it be over the entirety of his contract? He has 3 years left on his contract. So you're going to pay him roughly $2 million a year for the next 6 years or something like that.
Yeah, and under the new cap, that's nothing.
Right, so you could stretch him, and you have the flexibility. And it's just a lot more fun to watch basketball without Nick Young playing for your basketball team.
The thing I don't get is the only thing I don't like is I don't like that he has a player option on that final year, because if he's bad or not even if he doesn't even think even if he gets he knows he's going to get comparable offers in free agency, he'll still probably take the option.
Yeah, that's the tough thing with player options on guys like that, because we have almost Spencer Hawes at the same time, and it's well, if he's still bad, he'll probably pick it up just because money. But I mean, it is what it is. You kind of hope that year before he kills it, and you're okay, have a career year so you can think you can get long-term earnings.
Well, it might actually help the Clippers though, right? Because Doc has almost become notorious at this point for waiving guys after 1 year of underproduction or not meeting expectations. Yeah. So with the player option, it's kind of well, you have no choice here unless you want to trade him away, but you can't attach a first to him again because you have no first.
Right. I actually shameless plug right here. I actually wrote about that a little bit today about Spencer. So, and kind of talked a little bit about Doc doing that. It's not good. Real quick, if he trades Spencer at the end of this, going into next year, no one's going to want to play for Doc as a free agent. Bless you.
Thanks.
No one's going to want to play for Doc, because how do you believe a guy when he tells you, this is your role, this is how many minutes you're going to get, this is what we expect out of you, and hey, man, welcome to the team, when he's pretty much scuttled everyone who's had one bad year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think we hit on this a little bit last podcast, but just the way we expect athletes to just produce like that, it's 2K is pretty maddening, right? Andrew Wiggins was going to be a bust after 3 months. Get out of here with that stuff.
He's the next James Posey.
Maybe not even. Maybe not even.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into our next segment. Ryan came up with, well, I guess he's kind of cherry picking off of somebody else's idea with this team bingo, team tank bingo. So go ahead, Ryan. Tease what we're going to be looking to do. Probably next podcast is when we're going to put this together.
So basically, you're gonna have a traditional bingo sheet, and basically things that are relevant to tanking for the Lakers will be on it. So like one square will be like Carlos Boozer pushes someone off. Another square will be like Wesley Johnson turns the ball over. Another square will be like questionable rotation by Byron Scott. And then the free space will be, Byron Scott crossing his arms or something like that. And then like during the game, you can keep track of it. And obviously, you guys can request if you have any suggestions for the squares, and that's basically it. I mean, I just hope it's like a fun thing we can do down the stretch of the season, because the season sucks.
Yeah. So actually, something that just kind of crossed my mind. If you guys listening right now, and those of you who listen later to the podcast, have any ideas to send to us as squares, we'll take those into account. And we'll throw them on the bingo board. And then the idea is eventually, once we have, I'm thinking we go 16. We go 16 squares, 4x4, which gives people the opportunity to yell bingo, and also means something with 16 titles.
I was gonna say, you can't go 4x4. It's bingo. You have to go 5x4.
Sorry, math.
By the way, I was just looking at Nick Young's splits, just last thing on him. You should see, I mean, the statistical drop-off, I don't know if there's a correlation, but since Kobe's been out, like, it's crazy. There's a huge drop-off ever since Kobe left. So so it's just interesting, like Nick Young, like, he's just been getting worse and worse as the season's been going on.
So, Byron, bring Nick Young back.
Oh, real quick, you remember a couple episodes ago we talked about how to get rid of the intentional fouling, like the hack a DJ and all that stuff?
Okay.
Some guy came up with a good idea. Any intentional foul committed in the backcourt is an automatic 2+ possession. You cannot foul a player unless he's in the front court. So the defensive team would actually get a bonus of playing 4-on-5 defensively.
Huh. So yeah, you still dock the player for not being able to make a free throw?
Yeah, so basically that team, like, you can't foul him unless he's in the front court offensively. So like, the team with the ball would be 4-on-5.
So you can't play offense, but at the same time they can't purposely foul him.
Exactly.
That's like a trade-off for both teams.
I guess it could work.
I guess. Except
at that point, though, I'd almost just let whoever shoot the free throws. Like, playing offense 4-on-5 is like, be able, like, one guy when they can double every single person that has the ball. Like, that's kind of tough.
It's like the reverse Kings. They want 4-on-5 defense, but you're playing 4-on-5 offense.
Except if DeAndre Jordan was as stupid as Nick Young, he'd like put one foot in the front court and just get.
Like, it reminds me of, like, the Simpsons episode where, like, Homer's at the border and, like, he has one foot in. He's like now he's like, I'm in, now I'm out, now I'm in. He, like, Nick Young doing something stupid like that.
He'd be sitting there like, they'd have a player sitting there waiting to foul him, and he'd be like just putting it. I could see it. Make it happen, Adam Silver. I almost called him David Stern. I hate that guy.
Don't say, you're not allowed to say that name on this podcast.
Yeah, he shall not be named.
At least you didn't say
Although
David Silver.
This podcast probably wouldn't exist if he didn't do some stupid things, but
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I'm not complaining.
yeah, I wouldn't expect you to.
Are you wearing a Lob Nation shirt right now as you say that? Or
Oh, no. It just says it's time.
It's time to stop talking about David Stern. That's what time it is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up this podcast with a fun game here. As you guys may or may not have noticed, while I tweet from my couch about basketball, I might get a little passionate about these Lakers. So for those of you who say that I am not a fan because I root against the Lakers, just no. Just go away. Like that whatever. What's it? I'm gonna go ahead and shout out that guy's handle because he sucks at Twitter.
We don't need any personal attacks on here.
Yep, I'm throwing out this guy's name because he's just. Where is this guy? He has like a triple chin on his acne.
Oh my God.
There he is. Will Van Tress. Listen here, you abominable snowman-looking fuck. I am not a Laker fan. I have been a Laker fan my entire life. I am rooting against these Lakers because I hate these Lakers. I hate Nick Young. I hate Byron Scott. I hate fans like you. So you can go away. You don't have to follow Team Tank. You can have all the fun you want. You can mention us all you want. But when you tell me to chillax, go back to the damn 90s, you prick. All right.
Hate.
Jerry, straight out of the 90s. All right, so yeah, we're gonna talk about what we throw when we get passionate about our Lakers. Justin, go ahead and start it. I'm gonna go ahead and warn us, just so Peter doesn't yell at us about throwing live things. I don't throw my cat. I threaten that I do, but I don't actually throw Oreo. She is safe and sound. She's probably asleep on one of my jackets as we speak. So
I've never thrown one of mine either. I've wanted to.
I've considered it. So what are you starting us off with, Justin? What do you throw?
A DirecTV remote because they're easily replaceable.
That's a good one. And they make like a satisfying crunch when they hit stuff.
They do, like this back slide off piece breaks like in two, and I can't even get it the fuck off. Oh, there it is. Like it breaks off in two so easily that like the second it breaks, you just feel satisfied.
That's a good call. Just throwing stuff that breaks, like and you're not punished. Well, actually, you might now be punished if DirecTV is watching this. They now know that you're breaking on purpose.
When the Incredible Hulk, gets green and hulks up and smashes things, he's the Incredible Hulk. When I do it, I'm crazy. Just how it goes, I guess.
Thanks a lot, Obama. I'm just kidding. Rahul, what comes to mind when you want to throw things across the room because Byron's being Byron?
This Dish remote. He brought up DirecTV, so I'm gonna bring up Dish.
Product placement. And if companies are watching and want to sponsor us, we can make things happen.
We can have sponsor wars.
So now we have DirecTV and Dish against us, so that's not good. But yeah, so I have two of these, so I don't mind.
All right, Ryan, what do you have? Tell me you have like a Time Warner cable remote.
No, I don't. I have Comcast Xfinity remote, but I don't. They're not as easy. Like they're not like DirecTV when it comes to replacing, so I hold off on that. I don't throw things. I used to like. No, I'm not gonna get into it, but. But
you made it sound like you punch a wall.
No.
Yeah, I could. Ryan's very specific about which pieces of wall he can actually frame himself in these things. Because behind him, like just off camera, there's like a giant hole over here.
There's sometimes I don't throw anything, but while I'm tweeting during games, especially not tonight's game, I didn't really get mad for tonight's game, but that Jazz game, some of the people that respond to me, I just want to punch them in the face so badly, but I hold off.
You wish you could reach through the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, unlike you guys, I am a married man, a happily married man. Jen somehow puts up with me. I have a set of socks. I'm not even kidding, guys. I have a set of balled up socks, 14. So as they go on, I can throw them. It doesn't matter what they hit. They're not going to break anything. It's great. It's ergonomic. It's you're not going to hurt your elbow as you do it.
I'm sad you said ergonomic.
Yeah, no, it is. It's kind of you just kind of pick them up. You can ball them. You can I throw them at my TV. When Byron is sitting there with his arms crossed like this, I aim right between his gosh damn eyes. It's a good feeling. You guys should try it.
We need to create a product that's the like team tank throwing device or something. It's like when things don't go well, you just chuck it. Has like a nice, like Justin was saying, it has like a nice like satisfying sound when it breaks.
Yeah,
And then it's
Or
cheap to replace.
Or you can get the Byron Scott stress ball, so when you squeeze it, his eyes pop.
oh,
Because he's shocked at what he's seeing.
He just sit there with his arms crossed, and when you squeeze him, like his arms just go whoop, you know. Any other suggestions here, Justin? Do you have any other go-tos other than your easily replaceable remotes?
I've thrown a sandal. Like that was like the only other thing I've ever really thrown was like a sandal. Well, just because it's so flimsy, I was like, fuck it, it's a sandal. Like it's not gonna break anything. So I threw it against the wall one time. That was like years ago though. I haven't thrown anything in a long time. I've actually like thrown something up rather than at a wall.
I was trying to figure it out while Ryan was talking, but the reference I was trying to make, I just watched The Shawshank Redemption, so like in Ryan's room, I imagine there's some picture that is like covering the hole that he just sits there and punches like during the game.
Oh, yeah.
I have a Steve Novak poster covering it though.
Steve Novak is sitting here like this, and right at his waist is where the hole is growing like larger by the.
I keep buying posters.
Ryan's gonna tunnel out of his room.
You can swim through the shithole that this season is too. To finish off the alliteration here.
And come out a free man on the other side.
Yeah, well, the Lakers will be free of their pick. That's how the season's gonna go. All right, Rahul, do you have any last things that you throw besides your product placement remote?
Yeah, I do. I have this chair.
A chair.
Yeah.
Bobby Knight is in the building.
Is that a tiny green chair? Is that like a plastic tiny green chair?
Yeah.
Do you have like tea parties in your room?
You know what's sad is I think I have that exact same chair.
Oh my god.
So now we know how Skype goes between Rahul and Justin, who say they've never met each other before, but they sit on their own little green chairs.
I have this little tiny green chair in my closet that I've had since I was like 4 years old or something. And I don't know why, but I just haven't gotten rid of it. Like the cats lay on it.
Little did you know you could actually use it to like throw and stuff during games.
Right.
Back. See,
Actually, that would be a good thing to obviously not throw, but you know those chairs that like they're used for like movies and stuff. When you hit it on someone, it just instantly shatters. Like that type of thing would be great to just to have one of those when like the Lakers are sucking, or just destroy it.
I'm gonna have to add this to my bucket list, but I want to get one of those chairs and break it over Byron during a game. That'd be fun.
Oh man.
You know what was annoying? Speaking of that, like the fans after the game, like giving a standing ovation to the team. If I was at that game, I would have like people would have thought I was like a maniac or something. I would have been so.
Or a Bucks fan.
Yeah, I probably just would have worn a Bucks shirt.
Ryan's just like, stop it! Sit down!
I'd like bring a printout of like the Tankathon standings. Look at this. This is not worth standing up for.
86%, guys.
But those are analytics, and we can't talk about them. They're stats, so.
I don't think I'd go to a Lakers game this year. It'd just be too like it wouldn't even be fun. It's like if they win, it's like I'm not having fun, and I don't like any of the players on the team. And only besides Clarkson, like none of them are like that fun to watch. So it's just like a lost cause. Like Matt was at the game the other day, and he said there were actually like a decent number of pro tankers, which kind of surprises me, but.
Especially for being at a Celtics game.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It was a Celtics game. There were pro tankers there.
Maybe people are just starting to understand now what every game now means.
And I don't give a rat's ass if I have no perspective here, but I'm going to go ahead and credit ourselves. Team Tank has made Laker fans smarter. No, we haven't. We really haven't.
Although it's funny, like every time the Lakers Twitter like posts like a score update and we're winning, there's always someone, and like it's usually like the first response, and they're like, "Stop it right now," or "Why are you doing this to us?"
Oh man, I'm really close. Do you guys follow that TWC Sportsnet thing?
No, I know
No.
who runs it though, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean it's tough because he it's his job. Like he has no choice but to tweet the things he tweets. And actually, there wasn't even him behind what was going on their show today. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already, but during the post game show, you had whatever that chick's name is, and you had James Worthy and Robert Ory, and they're talking about the fourth quarter, and they're saying that Jordan Clarkson somehow learned in the fourth quarter because he was cheering hard. Get all the way out of here with that stuff. Like, oh my gosh.
What?
You're so bad at your job. You just stop talking. Just never talk ever again. All of you. Like, just, Michelle Roberts is right. You don't deserve your media credential. Just that you never cover him ever again. Congratulations. He can clap. Get the... Ah, all right.
He claps at an all-star level.
Yeah, like they were crediting for him his stupid little dance that he did because Wesley Johnson dunked the ball. Like what? Huh? That's good for his development? That's something that VW fan guy would say.
Oh, let it out. Let it out. It's healthy. Let it out.
Have you ever seen Adam Morrison's like 2010 NBA Finals highlights? He like gives like a high five and then it like replays it in slow motion.
He just like crumbles back into the fetal position with his weak little stash.
Or like he just like it's like someone makes a three and he like stands up and claps and it like does like a slow motion replay of his clapping.
Because that was great for his fucking career, TWC.
Hey, he's got as many rings as LeBron. Come on now. Doesn't Adam Morrison have 2 rings now?
Yeah, I think no.
Either one, I think one. I
Is
don't
it
think he was
one?
on the 09 team.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I can't blame the Lakers for not bringing him back after his finals production was this. Like, you know?
He's like the sad father after his like kid's like 6th grade play. I just sat through this shit.
My son's going to be a star, I swear.
Oh man, I haven't even gotten the chance to berate Milwaukee tonight.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I go ahead and jump on that.
I'm just gonna hijack it for a couple seconds. I fucking hate you, Milwaukee. I really do. Not because the Lakers beat you or anything, just because you are the epitome of a shittily run franchise that cannot get out of its own way. I actually thought Sacramento was worse than you until I realized Sacramento actually had a plan. Their plan was George Karl. You don't have one. Michael Carter-Williams is the shittiest fucking point guard I've ever seen because he can't shoot. There's no excuse for a grown man at 23 fucking years old to shoot 25% outside of 8 feet. It's not fucking statistically possible. It's not possible to get worse. Yet he did. He somehow fucking did. I'm sorry for cussing so much. It has to be said, though. Their spacing is an abomination to 21st century basketball. 9 of 40. 9 of 40 outside of 8 feet tonight. Do you understand how bad that is?
Their offense was better when Ennis was running it, just because they actually had to. They had to actually like require someone to stay near him on the perimeter.
And because he had a brain.
Yeah.
Like Tyler Ennis knows what he can and cannot do. Michael Carter-Williams is an imbecile. That's the only thing I can say.
A lot of people wanted us to trade for him, which I never understood. But go ahead.
I wouldn't have understood that at all. Giannis, I love Giannis, just can't shoot though. When Jabari Parker comes back next year, he still can't shoot. His jumper's not as good as people thought it was. So by putting those 3 together, now you're basically imploding a team that had a chance, and now tanking them for no reason other than to save several $1 million over 2 years because you don't want to pay Brandon Knight, who's actually 2 months younger than Michael Carter-Williams.
No, I kind of called it from the beginning when they traded Knight that all of a sudden I guarantee you their team is going to fall off a cliff because they're in the playoffs right now, right? If the playoffs started today, they'd be the 5th ranked team?
6th.
6th ranked. Yeah. So how are you going to tell the rest of that team, say, look, you guys fought really hard to make up for Jabari Parker's injury. You guys have, played really well, and, I give you great credit for that. We're trading our best player now. And then expect them to play better, and yeah, I agree. Michael Carter-Williams just Holy.
He has no confidence when he shoots. Like, if you actually watch him, he looks like, oh shit, I gotta take this shot.
Mhm.
Like, fuck, like, the only reason they're even close to the 5 seed is because Washington sucks right now, because Washington's offensive system is antiquated to the 1970s, where everyone takes mid-range jumpers because that's what we have to do. Because Wall can't shoot threes, Bradley Beal's injured, Paul Pierce is old as shit, and their bigs just want to live in the mid-range because that's what they do.
Well, Byron is really proud of all the coaching going on throughout your entire rant about all these antiquated systems. Byron's saying, I don't see what the problem is. Those are great shots to me.
Like, and this is the sad part with the Tyler Ennis, Michael Carter Williams thing. Like, when Tyler Ennis came in tonight, and I watched him, he actually looked like a guy who knew what he was doing. Like, he had that one pass to Jared Bayless where I don't think Michael Carter Williams could ever make that in his life. And it was, and Bayless, of course, blew it because no one gave a crap tonight from that team. And that's a team who went through so much adversity this year. Like, yeah, there was the Parker thing, but Larry Sanders had his issues. You know, I mean, they went through struggles with some guys. And it's like they tanked for no reason. I thought that Herb Cole selling the team would have at least made them put money back into it. They're not. They are what they like. I actually feel bad for Giannis. His career is going to be wasted there.
Another thing I don't get is they don't play Henson enough. Like, they give Zaza Pachulia the start in all these minutes, and it's like Henson's a much better player.
And he's younger, and he might be the future of your franchise, you know.
Yeah, like Jason Kidd somehow, and I like Jason Kidd. He's a better coach than what I thought he was for the job he's done with that team. But it's like, yeah, it's kind of like what the Lakers did with Boozer. It's like, okay, why are you playing Zaza Pachulia, who, yeah, Zaza was cool in his own day, but he's worthless now, over John Henson, a guy who actually makes a difference.
And Miles Plumlee, too. Plumlee's a much better player than Zaza.
I feel bad for Miles Plumlee.
He went from Phoenix to that.
He went from a starting position. I mean, yeah, Alex Len displaced him, and Len's great for them. But it's like he went from starter to now he plays 20 minutes a night to now he's in Milwaukee and fucking sits there while he watches Ersan Ilyasova and Zaza Pachulia take all his minutes.
All that said, I really don't feel bad for him at all because he's a Duke or a Dookie, and you know they can all go to hell.
I have my own thoughts on the Plumlees.
Except Okafor.
Well, I mean, I said they could all go to hell. Okafor being drafted by the Lakers would be pretty damn close to going to hell.
I'll save my thoughts on Okafor for another day.
All right, so we're dangerously close to that point where I go on another rant for whatever reason. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here while we're still ahead. I want to go ahead and thank Justin and Rahul and Ryan for joining us tonight. I want to do the opposite of thanking Byron for being a terrible coach. I want to do the opposite of thanking to the entire front. Nope, see, I told you we were dangerously close to me going on another rant. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to end it while we're ahead. Thanks for joining us tonight. Look forward to either. I'm going to see what we can do. Potentially come on tomorrow for a short one just to do the bingo thing to have ready for Saturday. Otherwise, we'll have for Sunday. Otherwise, we'll just come on Sunday and we'll do the bingo. We'll put the bingo sheet together for Sunday. So send us your bingo boxes over the next couple days, and those will hit the show. As always, I want to shout out to Paulito for being awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, guys.
That's Rahul saying thank you for not being suspended anymore.